I think most people probably enjoy fresh, clean perfumes. And I guess the definition of a kind of a fresh perfume is a bit different from person to person. I usually think of it as something citrusy, maybe something with aldehydes, maybe something with some light florals, but in general something just refreshing. You know, you could wear it on a hot summer day, that sort of thing. So I have a small list here of, I guess, fresh and clean perfumes. The first of which is a pretty common one, Dolce & Gabbana, light blue, Eau Intense, and this one's for women. There's one for men and one for women, but this one's for women. And the main kind of benefit of this one, and why it's so, I think, fresh, refreshing, is it has in the top notes of Granny Smith apple. And there's not a lot of perfumes that have apple in them. Usually they have other fruit notes, but the use of apple in this specifically is, it gives it just an undeniable crispness. You know, you could think of biting into an apple and that there's that crunch, that crisp kind of nature, and you get that with light blue from Dolce & Gabbana. And that's already on its own very delightful, very fresh. It's also mixed with a little bit of lemon. I want to say Amalfi lemon specifically, but I can't remember. But that mixed with the apple makes it even more refreshing. You can think of, you know, being in a lemon grove sort of thing, you know, on the coast of Italy somewhere. And interestingly, the middle and base notes are not as prominent as the top notes. The apple and the lemon in the top notes are by far some of the strongest notes out of the entire perfume. And that's fine. I mean, it is kind of a simple perfume, but for being, you know, refreshing, crisp, clean, you know, you'll definitely get all that with light blue. And it's just a very kind of accessible fragrance, and most people, I think, would probably like it, because I can't think of anyone who would dislike the smell of apples or lemons. So as long as you like those, you should be okay with light blue. So the next one here is a unisex fragrance, Voyage d'Hermès. The thing about this is that it is very, very light and citrusy. And the main citrus notes is lemon. I think there's probably a bit of lime thrown in there. You get kind of this kind of light cotton vibe, I suppose. And the thing is that it's an eau de toilette, and the overall body of the perfume is a bit light. It does kind of fade away a bit quickly, but the smell itself is very refreshing. Very, you know, you could think of wind rustling through some fresh linens on a clothesline somewhere. It's, you know, that kind of fresh, a bit sunny, has the citrus notes, and I mean, you can't really go wrong with what it's trying to do. It could be a bit stronger. That's like my main qualm. I kind of discussed it in my main review of it, but overall, this is a very, you know, if you're going out on a summer day, you could spritz yourself with this and you'd be ready to go. You know, it's very nice for freshening up, making sure that, you know, you have the right fragrance for the occasion, sort of thing. So the next one, which is a bit more, I suppose, complex, it has more notes, is Red Door. So Red Door is a bit different from these other two, mainly because it's a very floral, a little bit fruity sort of fragrance. And the fruit notes, I don't believe there's any lemon. It's mainly kind of like a peach plum sort of thing. And that's mixed with lots of floral notes, and a bit of honey, which gives it this interesting kind of sweetness. And it isn't crisp in the way that Light Blue or Voyage are crisp. This is more of more powdery, kind of like a clean sort of baby powder sort of thing. Not too heavy on the powder note, but it is definitely there. It adds a little bit of, a little bit of sharpness that contrasts with these kind of floral notes and the sweet notes of the fruit notes. And overall, it's a pretty sweet perfume, but not sugary, syrupy sweet. Despite the presence of the honey, there's still the floral notes keep it fresh, keep it light, and that's important, for making sure it's not too much of this, not too much of that. So, Red Door from Elizabeth Arden is definitely, specifically the Eau de Parfum. I don't really know about the other formulations, but this one that I have is very pleasant. Again, good for, spring and summer days. It does kind of miss the more refreshing notes that other perfumes might have, but this is better if you want something a bit sweeter, not as kind of crisp and cold. It has a bit of warmth to it. But overall, it has that powderiness, so it is still refreshing and just nice to wear. So the other one, which is kind of similar but a bit different, is this one from Creed. This is Flowers of Bulgare, also known as Fleurs de Bulgarie. And the thing about this, the main note in this is rose, Bulgarian rose, and it's quite an old fragrance. It came out in the 1800s under the reign of Queen Victoria, I believe. And the thing about this is that it's quite a cold fragrance. It doesn't have too many notes. It has some wood notes, and then it has some rose notes, and maybe a bit of amber, but really not too much. And some people compare it to like rose-scented soap. I think it's a bit more complex and interesting than just soap, but it's definitely a cold, crisp fragrance. And the fact that the rose dominates the entire fragrance pretty much ensures that this is refreshing. This is a very crisp floral perfume. Some people might not like it because it is it doesn't quite fit the bill as with other floral perfumes, more modern floral perfumes. But if you really like something that's kind of, it reminds you of being out in the forest in winter or autumn, I think. It has that coldness, but there is this refreshing kind of, it almost burns your nose, but not quite. The rose keeps it more mellow. So if you want something really kind of refreshing, and not too complex or complicated, then definitely Creed's Flowers of Bulgaria is a good choice. And the last one that I have here on this list is also a bit different, but it's Le du Temps by Nino Ricci, and similar to Red Door, this is also a typical floral perfume, mainly white florals. It does have some amber, some warm notes, but overall this is a very, quite light perfume. Not as sweet as Red Door. Actually, it's not that sweet at all. Just very kind of brisk notes of sweetness, but the main focus is on, these different floral notes and the bit of amber in the base notes. And a lot of people think, if there's certain wood notes or amber notes that, it can't be that refreshing. But I would argue against it, because those notes can have a certain crispness, a certain reserve, rather than this musky warmth. So that mixing with floral notes does keep it very light, very refreshing. And this is more versatile than these other fragrances, I would say, because while it does still have that kind of fresh, floral, kind of clean aroma, it also has the warmth of the amber. So that makes it good for all year round, I would say, the winter or the summer. So whatever. But that's pretty much what I have to say about these fresh and clean fragrances. If you have any other kind of ideas or recommendations for perfumes in this category, you can leave those down in the comments below. If you liked the video, you can leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.